What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday. We're going to take a look at some sealed product and some slabs that are moving in the Pokemon market. Kind of take a break from just looking at general market trends, what's going up and down. I just want to look at some of the largest sales we've seen over the past couple weeks. I know we talked about the Sun and Moon era a little bit yesterday. We are going to talk a little bit about the XY era today, and I'm just going to kind of relate what I'm seeing in terms of sales and auctions to what I think the general trend is in sealed product for XYR and try and give you guys a little bit of value there. And then we'll also look at some of the top modern cards, and also I think one of the largest sales we've seen this year on a single Pokemon card to close out the video. But starting off with sealed product, we have a sealed ETB of XY Primal Clash. This sold for $5,100. This is the Kyogre variant. I do think we have the Groudon version here as well, $5,600 and $33 USD. Both of these were through Probestein. It's funny, Probestein, at least in the One Piece space, I don't pay as close attention to their auctions for Pokemon, but I would imagine it's probably the same in Pokemon. Their slabs generally tend to sell on the higher end, where a lot of times they'll put up sealed product and it actually will go for cheaper than market. It's kind of a weird phenomenon, but either way, these are still very expensive ETBs, some of the first ETBs to come out. And I think we have a couple more coming up here on the list later. Now, we have a booster box of Ancient Origins. This sold for $9,600 Canadian, which is approximately $6,854 USD. I think the last time I did a XY update in the spreadsheet, which was 3 weeks ago, next week, this coming week, we're going to be doing another update. The average sale price for Ancient Origins was fairly close to $7,400, something like that. So we have seen about a 10% pullback, I'd say, on Ancient Origins. And there were multiple boxes selling in this range, somewhere between like $6,600 and $6,900 USD. So we have seen a little bit of a pullback on Ancient Origins, kind of to be expected. We're seeing it in Sun and Moon era and in a lot of other generations as well. We also have an XY, I believe this is base set ETB here, and this might have been like the third or fourth set to get an ETB. I can't remember exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure Black and White era, a couple of those sets were the first to get ETBs, but this was the first in the XY era, $7,357. So although it's not the best set, a very expensive ETB there. Now after that, we have a little bit of modern. We have a sealed Paldean Fates booster bundle master case. So this has 6 of the displays inside, $7,500 there. Very expensive. I'm not sure if this is the actual original label. I can't imagine. I'm pretty sure someone just put like 3 or 4 labels over top of this, but still a very expensive master case of booster bundles. And there will be one more master case on the list. Phantom Forces, an ETB here, $8,357. Very expensive. We're also going to see a booster box showing up here in a second, and then we can talk about the booster box price for that. Platinum, I believe this is base set as well. Booster box, $8,807 from a fairly small seller, 308 feedback. So not tiny, but not a huge consignment service either. We also have a Flashfire box, $9,100. This is where things get interesting because I'm pretty sure this is like the only Flashfire sale over the past couple weeks. I didn't look super deep, so I'm not 100% sure about that. But the last time I did an update on Flashfire, I think average sale price was like $8,700. So this is actually higher than the average sale price the last time I did an update about a month ago. So keep an eye on Flashfire. Again, normally for something like Flashfire, there's only 1 to 2 sales a month. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 in a good month for the booster box on eBay. So it's not like a ton of these move, which could be part of the reason why we don't see it move downwards as much as something like Ancient Origins or Roaring Skies or Evolutions or one of these sets that there are a lot more sales on. So there is your Flashfire update. This is the master case for 151, so 6 sealed booster bundle displays inside. And you can see here, there you go. That's what the label looks like, the distro label, $9,877. So almost $10K for a master case of 151 booster bundle displays. These have been on such a run over the past couple months, just crazy here. And again, this is from a fairly small seller, 244 feedback. That is not a massive consignment service, so you can definitely sell expensive items on eBay, guys. It is possible as long as you have 100% positive feedback, I'd say, is very important, or honestly, like over 99.5% or something like that. I think you're solid. Now, a couple more sealed items here. We have a Phantom Forces booster box. This sold for $12,800 through the Pokehive, a very large seller here. I'm not sure if they're consignment service or not, but they're out of Texas. Now, the last time I did a Phantom Forces update, the average sale price was around $12,000, I think 12.3K or something. So this is actually higher than that. But there was another box of Phantom Forces that I saw that sold around $10,000, 10.2K, 10.3K, something along those lines. So it seems like even with Phantom Forces, we've seen a little bit of a pullback if we do an average. And I wouldn't be surprised the next time I do my update that that number is a little bit lower than $12,000. But again, like Flashfire, as an earlier set from the XY era, we don't see as many sales of Phantom Forces booster boxes as something like Roaring Skies or Ancient Origins or Evolution. So it would kind of make sense why we aren't seeing this box move down as much as something like those sets, just because there aren't as consistent sales on it. And then we have one more sealed item here. We have a case of Evolving Skies 14.7K here. I don't think this is first print. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's not first print you would see. The distro don't sell before date on it, but either way, a case of Evolving Skies going for around $2,500 per box inside. With these older sets from the Sword and Shield era, Sun and Moon, etc., if you can get a sealed case of 6 and the price per booster box inside is about the price of a loose box in terms of TCG player price or just the general market on it, I think that's a win, just because, again, you're getting a sealed premium normally on these items, but if it goes for auction a little bit cheaper than that, right, that's where you can make a little bit more ROI. Now, before we jump into some of the slabs, I did want to slide over here and say that about 60% of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're getting some value out of this content, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Thank you in advance if you do decide to do that. Now, moving into some slabs, we're going to start off with the Zygarde EX. As you guys know, I think we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago at this point. Zygarde is going to be in that new mega set that's coming out that everyone thought was going to be a Rayquaza set. It's now a Zygarde set. And this full art card, I think when we looked on TCG Player, it had moved from like $25 up to around $100 raw. And you can see here a PSA 10 copy is selling for $1,100 USD. And PSA 10 pop on this is $518. So this card has definitely been on the rise. Now, we're going to go through a few modern cards. We have the Pikachu EX from Surgeon Sparks, PSA 10, $1,278. Nothing super crazy going through some of these, but the Rockets Mewtwo EX from Destined Rivals, $1,700. This is from a very small seller here, 2 feedback. The crazy thing, in my opinion, about this card, though, I know I said there wasn't really anything crazy going through these, but the PSA 10 pop is already almost 4,000 on this card, which is just, to me, that's wild. Total pop, by the way, is 7,613. That's just through PSA. So you imagine other grading companies, Ace, BGS, CGC, etc., and you start to do the math about how many packs, how many booster boxes, booster bundles, etc., have to have been opened to get these pop reports. It really starts to destroy the narrative of a lot of people that people are just hoarding Modern, right? Like nobody's actually opening this stuff. People are opening this stuff, guys. That is a fact. Now moving on, we have the Mew EX Bubble Mew here, $1,878 in a PSA 10. I still kick myself to this day when these were like $360 Canadian on eBay. So like, I don't know, $275 USD. I wasn't picking these up. It was the closest I got to buying slabs ever, I think. I don't know why I didn't do it. You know, again, regrets. It's in the past. Can't really do anything about it. The PSA 10 pop on this, though, 13,618. So a very high pop. Total pop, 35,210. Then we have a Rayquaza VMAX. This is a BGS 10, non-black label, $2,000 through Probstein. We have a Magikarp PSA 10. This went for $2,075, so nowhere near its all-time high, but still very expensive. PSA 10 pop, $3,562. Total pop, $19,461, so very low gem rate on that Magikarp. We have the Gengar VMAX. This sold in a PSA 10, $2,100, getting very pricey here. Total pop is $21,720. PSA 10 pop, $12,233, so more than 50%. We have the Gengar Mimikyu in a tag 10. We don't see a ton of tag cards showing up when we do these types of videos, but this still sold for $2,925 USD. I think we have a couple more modern cards, and then we'll go into some older, more vintage cards. But this is the Japanese Moonbryon from EV Heroes. This sold in the PSA 10, $3,350.99. Very expensive Japanese card. We have the Charizard GX. This is from Hidden Fates Shiny Vault. This sold in a BGS 10 black label, so not a regular BGS 10. This is a black label. Sold for $5,000 USD. Following that, we have an Umbreon Gold Star from Pop Series 5. This is the original Gold Star, not the reprinted one. $5,800 USD in a PSA 1.5. The PSA 1.5 pop on this is 1, so this is a 1 of 1 card. Total pop is 693, so a very rare card and a very expensive one, even in a PSA like 1 or 2. After that, though, another modern set here. We have the sequential Mega Lucario and Gardevoir from Mega Evolutions. This sold $7,400 in a PSA 10 combo. Then we have the simplified Chinese Gengar with the Pikachu in front of it. This in a BGS 10 black label, sold for $10,000 USD. Very expensive card. We also have a BGS 10 black label of the McDonald's Pikachu promo that sold for $10,988. Crazy what these promos are going for. We have another, I believe this is a promo here, Japanese XY Pikachu. This sold for $12,000 USD. The PSA 10 pop on this is 31. Total pop is 48. So a very rare card here. After that, a more modern card, we have the Lugia from Silver Tempest, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, alt art from the Sword and Shield era. BGS 10 black label, so a fairly rare card here. You can see in quotations says pop 22. I don't know if that is the actual pop, but it is very low. Either way, $13,900 there. We have the Mario Pikachu that sold for $17,101 in a PSA 10. And then finally, the last card, which is one of the most expensive auctions we've seen this year, we have the Mew EX, the simplified Chinese version. This sold in a BGS 10 black label for $122,322, 61 bids. Crazy sale there, super expensive card. I imagine the pop on this might just be 1 or 2, or it's got to be fairly low. But that's going to be it for the video. I figured it would be fun to just look at some of the auctions. We haven't done this in about a month or so. If you guys enjoy this type of content, again, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Also, if you guys are interested in the One Piece market, I will be doing an update like this for the One Piece TCG tonight on the second channel. Link in the description down below if you're interested in checking that out. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.